Hey guys. So it happened.
It happened.
We're at the end. Attack on Titan, the anime, one of the great anime of all time, is finally over.
And
done.
And we have feelings.
We have a lot of feelings.
And I think we need to talk about our feelings.
Yeah.
So this will be filled with spoilers, not
Yeah.
just for the finale, but really for the series at large. So spoilers. Lots of spoilers.
Yeah, and I would say if you haven't seen any Attack on Titan or you're not really caught up, you should just wait and you should watch the show because it's really an amazing show and well worth your time. But yes, if you have not seen the show or you're not caught up, I would wait to watch this video until you are caught up and you have seen the finale.
Yes.
Because our feelings are just too deep and we just have to talk about it.
We do.
I will have to say, just from the offset, this show is one of those shows that I tell my non-anime watching friends, like, when they're like, oh, I don't know how to get, started. This is one of those shows, I consider this really one of the few anime that I feel like for a Western audience or just a general audience feels like it would be like premium content.
Absolutely.
Like a Game of Thrones type show or something that feels a little beyond what I think most people consider like a typical anime.
Well, because not only is the subject matter really deep, but the directing of the episodes are incredible, and the storytelling is beautiful. Devastating, but beautiful. And so it really goes above and beyond what a lot of what people tend to think anime is, people that don't love anime like we do.
Yeah, and I think really, this show, it's always been a tough watch, but I really think around the third season, everything sort of shifted, the third and especially the fourth season, where the show just became one sternum punch after the next.
Yeah.
It is a very, very difficult show to watch.
Well, it's an interesting thing because you're talking about a show that starts off, in first episodes where you watch your main character's mother get eaten in front of him, gory, not off camera, gory.
Yeah.
And he's he's a child at that point watching his mother get eaten.
Yeah. And of course, that is what propels the entire show. And the first season is very much almost like a weird kind of fairy tale where it's these guys fighting against these giants, and it's very who the good guys are, who the bad guys are.
Yeah.
And then as the mythology continues and the mystery continues, all of a sudden, it's almost like there's aspects of that show Lost.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're sort of wondering who are these other people and what are their motivations, and it turns into a full-blown craziness.
You start wondering pretty early on because in that first season, your main character Eren, he turns into a Titan.
Yeah.
One of these giants, and it's wait, what does that say about the Titans in general?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Are they people? You
Yeah.
know, and as you find out later, yes, they are
Yes,
people.
they are.
But it gets you questioning that really early on, and there's such deep mythology to it as it weaves through. You wait way too long to find out it was in Eren's dad's basement. But aside from that,
Eren's basement went on very long.
Yeah, for
a few years.
Yeah, for a meaningful but also slightly disappointing reality. But in the end, it was all destined to be the way that it ended up, and there was so much devastation in the beginning, and then in the middle you're given hope, even though everyone keeps dying.
It is, and also much like I mentioned with Game of Thrones, it's one of those weird shows that you meet a lot of characters you love, and then they all kind of die, or at least a majority of them die, and it's really they have enough great moments, enough heroic moments that you're just pretty devastated when they do die.
Yeah, and the thing about this show is that it keeps on giving you hope and then pulling that hope away.
Yeah.
But I think you're so stuck on the idea you want that hope so badly that you just keep on hoping that the hope will come through.
Yeah, and I think Eren Yeager as a main character is maybe the most unique anime hero I've ever really seen.
Yeah.
I mean, the type of anime hero we tend to like are the Narutos, the Luffys, the characters that are kind of pure of heart and, make everyone better. And Eren is not that.
Well,
Eren is a very complicated character.
Those characters are these a lot of the time idiots with a lot of power, but a lot of altruism.
And a lot of hope.
And a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Eren is an idiot with a lot of power and murderous rampage.
I mean, he's definitely somebody who is really spends a lot of time being really angry.
Yeah.
And spends a lot of time kind of letting his emotions take over.
Yeah.
And really does cause a large amount of the carnage and death that happens in this entire show.
Yeah.
Which is really, once again, like maybe the bravest and most calamitous choice that I think a writer could make.
Yeah, so they did an interesting thing for the final season. It was really just 2 movies. One came out months and months ago, and then the final part of it just came out.
Yeah, well, it was season 4, and then it was 2 movies.
Right.
So it ended in 2 movies.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But the point being that you end those episodes in one place.
Yeah.
You end the first movie or whatever you want to call it in a. No, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then you get to this final one, and you're like, you don't even know what you want to happen at that point. It's like the thing is, it could have ended up of, oh no, this was all a dream. Like this was it could have ended up as like, no, there is hope. It's like, no. Eren just went around devastating half the planet. Like you can't if they had walked it back from that.
Yeah.
It would have sucked.
Yeah, no, you couldn't. He was on a path really kind of even a little before the 4th season started, but really by the time the 4th season started. But man, I didn't really expect the amount of devastation that he created to have happened.
No.
I mean, and it was so interesting to see a character that, you follow that starts off the hero and then by the end is clearly the villain.
Yeah.
And so much so that that you're really rooting for him to be defeated and also, frankly, can't see a way that he could survive.
Yeah.
Because he's just so bad by the end.
Well, there was a really interesting thing throughout it where the 3 main characters, like from the very beginning, Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, you kind of see them and it's like, when Armin was devastatingly hurt, and I'm just like thinking to myself, I mean, I know they kind of kill everyone, but I feel like they can't kill him because...
Well, they already killed him once.
Yeah, but also, Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, like they have to survive together till the end, right?
The Trinity, yeah.
Yeah. But in the end, it's no. Like Armin and Mikasa have to survive.
Yeah.
But they have to be the ones to take out Eren.
And just like the twists and turns and the very kind of like weird like Paul Atreides Dune thing they end up doing with Eren, where like he can sort of see the future and see the past, and it really got like super convoluted and not convoluted, complicated.
Yeah.
Convoluted is not the right word, because I think if anything, this show delivers in everywhere. I can't remember one like big red herring that they didn't answer. It is very thoughtful.
Yeah.
It's just so dark, and I think the biggest issue I have with the show is just that it's too real. Which is funny, because it's a show in a completely fantasy world where like humans can turn into titans and people are flying around with ODM gear and nothing about it is realistic, but the entire thing is about war and about like human hatred, and it is a very difficult thing to watch because they really put you in the shoes of witnessing like the sort of the worst of humanity and the most horrifying aspects of it.
Yeah, they do a really beautiful job with it, and it makes you feel horrible.
It really does.
Exactly as it should.
Yeah.
And it makes you so depressed about it, as it should.
Yeah.
Like it's about how, whatever glory you see in war, like it is on the backs of so much devastation and horror and war should not be the end goal. And war isn't really the way to peace.
It's funny because, we love Naruto, and a lot of what was really great about Naruto was sort of pointing out that the ninja world was a big part of the problem of the suffering of everybody.
Yeah.
And they sort of dealt with it, though, with Naruto bringing everyone together. This takes that aspect and just takes it to an 11 and makes it like Eren a little bit more of an Ozymandias from Watchmen type character.
Yeah.
Mixed with Paul Atreides. And man, I gotta be honest, I feel like the show is a masterpiece.
Yes.
The finale is a masterpiece, but damn it if it wasn't like I don't know, it kind of felt like someone like put me in a roll cage and just like rolled it like for like 5 minutes until I was sore and sick.
It is absolutely an emotional roller coaster throughout the whole series. Honestly, the way that they introduce you to characters, they let you get to know characters in a certain way, and then they totally flip it on their heads. Like certain characters, like Reiner, like Bernal, like
Reiner kind of like got cool by the end, which is really surprising because he sucked for so long.
He did. Well, it was just such an interesting thing, the way they flip him, the way you hate him, the way that you see his background and you're like, well, I kind of feel bad for him, but I still kind of hate him. But then by the end you're like, yeah, go Reiner. You know, and the way that they had to go through the main characters all had to go through these intense emotional journeys, like all together, all dealing with their past traumas and find their way to like a better way. Because the thing is that like they were just following instructions to the tune of no, destruction is the best way, and like they like. It wasn't. They were by the end, trying to stop that destruction, except for Eren, who was like, no, I'm just going to destroy everyone who isn't the people I love.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, too, because the show dealt with that for so many seasons, where, like, your main scout crew would sort of, like, you know, they would be, like, part of the government, they would go against the government, they would be, you know, for the Eldians, they'd be against the Eldians, they'd be with Eren, they'd be against Eren, and it really is just one of those really uber... just complicated shows. And you know, I thought the finale was amazing. I loved all the stuff where I think it was interesting. They were able to humanize Eren a little bit more and make you sort of understand him, but also don't really take away from how wrong what he did was.
Yeah,
which I thought was really kind of adult in the way that they wrote it.
I mean, but I also appreciate that he's like, I tried to come up with other scenarios. I've been through this over and over and over again, and this was the only conclusion I could come up with. But he also in that same thing was like, yeah, because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just an idiot with too much power.
Yeah, well, he kind of reckons with the idea that, like, this was thrust upon him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a genius like Armin. You know, and he's not even necessarily, like, as special as, like, Mikasa. He's just, like, the guy that this like, you know, it's that whole like you know, greatness thrust upon you.
It's true, but even like the way that they sort of play things out, the way that they sort of go through the different attitudes of the Marleyans and everything. It's like going with, if Armin had the same power from the beginning, his sort of like wonderful, lovely heart still would have led to the destruction of you know, of the island and all of the people that they love, because those people were going to come attack them.
Yeah, like, no, that's true. At the end of the day, it was. I mean, war is inevitable is kind of part of the conclusion of the show, right?
It is. It's like, it shouldn't be. We should be able to talk these things out. We should be able to love each other and care about each other. But you know, if we can't, then what's the option? And then, you know, it shouldn't be wiping other people out.
Yeah.
But like,
and it's also really crazy show to watch with like current events too, and you just find yourself like really reeling from the whole thing. What is supposed to be entertainment is both entertainment but also just something so real and too real, and something that makes it really hard to enjoy yourself. But also at the same point, like, you know, some of these characters that, you know, you almost feel like you've grown up with them because you spent such a long time with them. And, you know, like, I was so happy at the end when, like, that Levi was still alive, even though he's kind of Frankenstein at this point. He's all mangled up, but like, you know, he's always been a character that, like, even though he's a badass, even though he's a hard ass, has been very much a pure character that you always know what his motivation is. You always know where he's coming from. And I really sort of enjoy, and I also enjoyed the fact that he was always the guy in the middle of the fight. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he somehow survived when so many other people didn't was also kind of, I think, ironic, right? Is kind of almost what you're going for there. And I don't know. It was great. I thought all the forms of the different Titans was really interesting.
Yes.
That was also very much reminded me of like the fourth Ninja War, Naruto, and all the dead were coming back.
Well, they did so many cool things, you know, and so many. But again, things that felt warranted. They felt like they made sense for the way that the story was told. You know, all of those previous forms, they weren't you know, their full color glory, you know, they were like almost the clay versions, the golem versions that Ymir was making in her little like Sandland.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, because they were all extensions of the Warhammer Titan, right?
Yeah. So it was a really interesting thing, and once again, that everything about this show built to what it was. It all felt like it knew where it was going, and then every little piece of it felt like it was meant to have happened, and felt warranted.
Yeah, 100%.
But now I'm so filled with emotions.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I think the show's amazing. If you haven't watched it and you're still watching this, you're crazy, but you should watch it. It is truly one of the best anime of all time.
Yeah.
But man, I don't feel good after watching it.
And then watching through the end credit sequence, like
yeah, I know.
And it's like there's so many years of loveliness and peace and things, and then war again, but then peace out of the war or whatever.
That end felt a little Platinum Endy to me.
It did, but also like it wasn't the end of everything. You know that kid was with his dog, like.
Ugh. Yeah. I know, the boy and his dog. Yeah, at the end. Yeah. So we bought something like last year that I think is now the perfect time. It's been sitting.
It's been sitting. We've been waiting for the perfect time.
So
now that we're full of emotions,
here it is. We, for some odd reason, bought Attack on Titan Saki. I actually bought it mostly for this box.
It's amazing.
Where it's got the Titan that ate Aaron's mom right here. It's Dina, right? It says Dina Beyond the Wall Titan model.
Yeah.
Which, it says model, so does the bottle look like her? Wouldn't that be great?
I think it's just a bottle.
Let's find out. Look at that. This is turned into a Geek World Eats episode. Who would have guessed? There she is. It probably is just a bottle. But wouldn't it be cool if it wasn't?
It would be insane.
It would be nuts, but I can't imagine. Wait, what? Yeah, there it is. Man, I was really hoping it was in the shape of her, though.
It would have been amazing, but also real weird.
Okay. Ooh, jeez. Yikes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to drink some of this sake, and we're going to talk about our favorite moments of Attack on Titan past. So, all right, smells good. Kanpai. Oh, that's actually really nice.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Considering how harsh that world is, this has a nice kind of like almost fruit type flavor.
It's very smooth. It's yeah.
Well, I for one, this probably is messed up, but I think my favorite moment of Attack on Titan was the 4th season open. When Eren took the fight to Marley. I think only because I think all the way up until that, Eren was so like, he was a tough character to love because he was constantly like whining and constantly like crying about not being powerful enough. And finally, by the 4th season, he like kind of switched and he sort of became like a badass.
Yeah.
And he was making plans. He had a he believed in himself. He had the power. He fought. Unfortunately, it's also where he crossed over to the dark side and started killing civilians. So that was really bad.
Yeah.
But him taking the fight to Marley, especially because up until then, most of what we knew about Marley was that they were basically like they were basically an evil country that were enslaving the aliens. The aliens, yeah. So you kind of like wanted them to get like, a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah.
But that did sort of send everything down a dark path from there.
Yeah. God, it's so tough because there are so many beautifully done episodes and like so many moments where I would just like turn to you and be like, this is so well directed.
Yeah, totally.
Gosh, I think just honestly the first episode, like when the walls are breached.
The first episode
of
the entire show?
When the walls are breached, when all of the devastation starts happening, like because you're watching this show and it's like, and it starts off with this like, this lovely thing of these friends and they're having like, and the way that the horror comes upon them, it like justifies everything that happens after in a way because like you're there with these children when their lives are torn apart in a horrific way, which you later find out is, that people that they then made friends with are responsible for.
Yes.
Like it's these things that like that first episode if you go back and watch it, there are so many things in it that come into play later. And obviously it's like, some of them were obviously meant to be that way from the beginning, but they really did a good job of playing into where things from the very beginning would come in and like mean something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with that because you took the best part.
It really was the best part. That 4-season open was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Kampai. So, I think next is who's your favorite character?
I mean, Mikasa's the easiest answer. Like she's
agreed.
She's badass from the beginning, and the way that she always looks out for Eren, but kind of looks out for everyone. She saves the day so many times, and granted, it is largely saving the day in order to protect Eren.
Yes,
but she is so powerful and so cool, but she's not trying to be cool.
Yeah,
she's not trying to be powerful. She just is. She's kind of like a monster. In a positive monster,
a monster for good, like the Thing.
Yeah, but I mean, and she's so understated. She doesn't care about power. She doesn't want to be a hero. She doesn't want to she's there to protect the people she loves, particularly Eren.
She had it bad for Eren though, man. She was super in love, and I love that whole thing of the Ackermans and whether or not she was trying to save him because of the whole founding Titan thing, and but then it kind of shifted and they sort of answered that at the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that she loved Eren, but she was also he saved her life in the when they were very
kids.
young.
Yeah.
And that's the other weird thing, how vicious he was as a child.
Yeah, well, he's kind of the great psychopath of shonen manga, isn't he? It's just so interesting to have a main character who is legitimately a psychopath. When he went back and was talking to his father in the memories past. By the way, if you haven't seen the show now, you would have no clue what we're talking about. But and he was like, "Dad, this is just who I am."
Yeah.
And you're just like, "Oh God, oh God."
When his dad's like, "You made me do this," he's like, "Yeah, I kind of did."
Yeah. All I have to say is, if you guys ever talk to anybody and you ask who their favorite Attack on Titan character is, and they say Eren Yeager, run. Yeah. Just run away as fast as you can.
Who's your favorite?
It's Levi. Yeah, Mikasa also, but Levi by the end, I was just Levi was always a character that you like. He was very kind of this, Han Solo meets Lancelot type character, but I just think his consistency, his the fact that he always did what was right, the fact that he had that dark side where he was a kid assassin, the fact that he kind of was able to lead them through the scouts through the darkest times, even though he was never really the leader, that was, either Erwin or Hanji, when he told them in the 3rd season, it's we're going to have to start killing people now. Well, he prepared them for the chaos in a really strong way.
There was no other character that if you said this character is here, you say Levi's here, and everyone's like, oh, we can win now.
Yeah,
Any other character, they go, hey, Erwin's here. It's okay, good. This should help.
Yeah,
Hanji's here.
I know.
Well, that might be weird, but
should be funny if nothing else.
Yeah, but you say Levi's here, and it's oh, we can win.
Yeah, and it's how much he always wanted to kill Zeke, especially in the last 2 seasons, was pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your favorite Titan form?
Ooh. Well, I don't know.
I was talking to my sister the other day, and she straight up hates the Beast Titan. She hates Zeke's Titan. Huh. She hates that design. I actually kind of like it because he looks like a big Yeti.
Yeah.
But
well, it's interesting seeing previous Beast Titans or
yeah, it is cool that they're all slightly different, right?
Because I think there was one that might have been an alligator, which I'm assuming was a Beast Titan. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Warhammer Titan.
The Warhammer's pretty cool.
I like the way the armor and I like the powers. Probably followed by Armored.
Armored Titan is a great one. It's kind of a classic. And
it's classic, yeah.
It's super strong, super maneuverable.
Yeah. Well, he looks heroic even when he's not for most of the anime.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The female Titan is actually like kind of on par with the armored Titan.
Yeah.
In both like in maneuverability and also sort of just agility.
Yeah.
Speed. It's got the speed. It's got the agility and the adaptability.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well. I can't drink any more sake. But last question. What do we? Two questions. What are we supposed to take away from Attack on Titan? And what did you take away from Attack on Titan?
I mean, I think what you should take away from it is like pursue peace, like like love each other, and like don't be so suspicious of other people, and like but that should be for everyone. Like, everyone needs to stop being so suspicious and love each other, because like you know, people are people, and we all have like preconceived notions and stuff, and like you know things that we're taught that are often wrong.
Yeah. People are people, even the ones that can turn into titans.
Yeah, people are people. Yeah, and what I took away from it is like sadness.
Yeah.
A lot of sadness.
Yeah, I think basically the cycle of war and hatred will never end, and the only way through is love. This is pretty much what you're saying. I think that's what you're supposed to come away with, and I think what I took away with it is that you know, you don't have to do the same story over and over again. You know, I think like as much as we love Naruto, One Piece, My Hero Academia, a lot of these stories are very much the same. I mean, I was having a conversation. I mean, we've had this conversation before, just us, that essentially like Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen are the exact same shows. You know,
and we love them all.
We love them all.
We all love them all, but they are the exact same.
They're almost identical, and the fact is, Attack on Titan isn't. You know, it is so different in design, in setting, in characters, in trajectory. It's brave. It's sad. It deals with stuff probably way above way beyond its reach, and I think that's really. And I think it's been rewarded with this sort of like, you know, this sort of placement of like, you know, this truly high-end anime, and I think that's what's great about it. I think that's what people always think is great about it.
I totally agree. That being said, you know, if you're gonna do something different and interesting like that, you know, make it like Attack on Titan, where everything feels justified, even if it's depressing. Everything feels justified in the end. Unlike Platinum End. God, that was anger filled. That ending filled me with such anger.
What do you expect from the guy or girl or whomever who wrote Death Note?
True.
I mean, we don't even know who the mangaka is.
Yeah,
it's like iShield 21. We're like, yeah, right. They're like, there's no way there's a football player that nobody knows their identity. Yeah. Well, there's a mangaka who is that way. So there you go. Okay, cool. Well, what did you guys think about the Attack on Titan finale, and who is your favorite? I don't know. What do you think? Titan or character?
I mean, answer any of the questions we answered.
Yeah, just answer them all.
Just answer them all. Yeah, answer them down there.
And if you've watched all the way through and haven't watched Attack on Titan, you're crazy, because we revealed a lot. But
I guess still watch it.
It's still worth watching because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.